On a summer afternoon in August 2015, construction workers in Woodland Park, Colorado began tearing down an old, rotting cabin that had stood silent for years, its windows broken, its wood warped by snow and time. The kind of place locals stopped noticing long ago, and as they dismantled the crumbling brick chimney, something inside refused to fall with the debris. Something lodged deep within the narrow shaft, and when they looked closer, what they saw would reopen a missing persons case that had haunted this small mountain town for 7 years. It was 12-year-old Joshua Maddux, a boy who had vanished in 2008 without a trace, a child who had left his home for a simple walk and never returned. And the question that immediately gripped the community was not only how he died, but how he had been hidden in plain sight less than a mile from his home for 7 years. Joshua disappeared on May 8, 2008 in a town where violent crime was rare and children moved freely between wooded trails and quiet streets, a place surrounded by pine forests and mountain air where people felt safe leaving doors unlocked. He was described by family and teachers as intelligent, thoughtful, and creative, a boy who loved writing stories and spending time outdoors, someone more drawn to imagination than trouble. And that afternoon, there was no dramatic event, no visible distress, no argument that signaled danger. And as evening approached and the Colorado sky darkened behind the mountains, his family's concern turned into panic. Neighbors joined the search. Law enforcement canvassed the area, volunteers combed through dense woods and abandoned properties, helicopters scanned from above, posters with his face appeared across town, and yet there was nothing. Then came the discovery in 2015, and the details only deepened the mystery. The abandoned cabin where Joshua was found had reportedly been vacant around the time of his disappearance, its condition deteriorating over the years, and inside that structure, investigators found his clothing near the fireplace area, with early reports claiming the clothes appeared folded, though later clarifications suggested some inconsistencies in how that detail was described publicly, which fueled online speculation and confusion. But what remained undisputed was this: Joshua's body was inside the chimney, positioned in a fetal-like posture, upside down, in a space measured to be extremely narrow, estimated at roughly 9 by 13 inches in interior dimensions, a shaft not designed for human movement. And investigators concluded that he most likely entered from the top of the chimney rather than the fireplace opening, because the interior damper mechanism and space constraints would have made climbing upward from below nearly impossible, meaning he may have accessed the roof, possibly attempting to descend the chimney, and once inside, gravity and the tight brick walls would have locked him into place. But while the official explanation described a tragic accident, not everyone found it easy to accept because questions lingered. How did a 12-year-old gain access to the roof of an abandoned cabin? Why attempt to climb down a chimney? Was he seeking shelter? Was he exploring? Did he misjudge the risk? And although rumors circulated within the community and online about possible suspicious individuals or alternative scenarios, law enforcement maintained that there was no credible evidence supporting foul play, no verified signs of struggle within the cabin, and no forensic indicators proving another person's involvement, leaving the case officially classified as an accidental death. Yet the psychological weight of this case does not rest solely on speculation. It rests on the terrifying reality of confinement. Because to imagine a child trapped upside down inside a brick shaft is to confront a uniquely disturbing form of isolation. Woodland Park eventually demolished that cabin, removing the physical structure, but the story remains embedded in the memory of the town, circulating in documentaries and online discussions, labeled often as the boy in the chimney, a phrase that reduces a life to a single horrific detail, when in reality, Joshua Maddux was a son, a writer, a child with stories he never got to finish. And perhaps the most unsettling truth is this: sometimes tragedy does not come with clear villains or dramatic revelations. Sometimes it arrives quietly in the form of a decision that lasts only seconds but changes everything forever. And as you picture that abandoned cabin under the Colorado night sky, the wind moving through pine trees, the darkness settling over the mountains, remember that for 7 years the answer to a missing child case was hidden just blocks away, silent inside a chimney. And even with an official conclusion, there is something about this story that refuses to feel fully resolved, because some tragedies echo long after the bricks are torn down, and in the cold mountain air of Woodland Park, the silence still feels heavy. This is the Blood Report, where the truth is never buried, only waiting to be uncovered.